Hey there, I'm Scott Winfield, and welcome to Victorian Opera's web series Artist in Isolation. Our guest on this episode is greatly talented soprano Olivia Cranwell. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure. Welcome to my home.
So you are in Sydney, but where were you in the world when things started to change and become apparent that something was going to happen?
Yeah, so I was actually in Vienna in Austria. I'd been there for 2.5 months out of a 4-month contract to work at the Wiener Staatsoper there and as an ensemble member. And yeah, so I had literally, it's quite interesting. I'd literally done my European debut the Sunday before. And so, obviously ecstatic highs of that.
May I ask what were you appearing in?
I was Fräulein Andacht in a Kinderoper called Puntchen und Anton, and it was amazing and very, very exciting. And then Monday I was scheduled to do a rehearsal. I was due to sing Ottlinda in Die Walküre for part of the Ring cycle, and so we had a rehearsal that evening. However, we had a message come through about lunchtime that the Opera House was closing for the rest of March. So devastating, obviously, but things had been brewing,
Yes.
The whole COVID situation was starting to get a little more hairy in Austria, and obviously Italy was in a really, really bad state at that stage. So I, sat on that for a while and just, we continued coaching. So we're still going into the house, but everything had changed. We had to have our temperatures taken. Only obviously essential personnel were at the house, and then slowly more and more things closed. And I got to Thursday and I was vacillating. I'm like, what should I do?
So this is in the course of within a single week?
Within a single week. So Monday the house closed. Closed for a period of time, and then by Thursday things were getting much, much worse. And my brother was actually working in a hospital in London at the same time, and he gave me a call the Wednesday night, and he just said, "Liv, if you don't have to be in Europe, I would probably think about going home." And obviously by that stage, Australian government was starting to talk about maybe borders closing. And then, so booked my return flight home Thursday evening. I was on the plane Friday afternoon and I got back into Sydney Saturday evening. So not even a week went by before I decided the best place to be was home.
What a dramatic week.
Yeah. Operatic, some might say.
Since returning to Australia, what does your life look like now?
Well, interestingly, I must say it hasn't changed a lot. I think as performers, we do have to be very self-driven, and like a lot of the time is spent in our studios, learning and, doing the work ourselves. So, I mean, yeah, it was hard not seeing friends and being able to go out. But luckily, I mean, up here, and I think down in Victoria now too, they've relaxed a few of the rules. So, it's been nice to be able to go out and do a, socially distanced walk with a few friends and things like that. But I must admit I've quite enjoyed it in a sense, because it's been an opportunity to really just stop and focus on just a handful of things. And I guess kind of get back to basics and get back to, the basic things in life. So, lots of cooking. I think that's a mandatory thing now for everyone in isolation.
What have you been cooking?
Lots of stuff. I mean, for instance, today I've made a lasagna from scratch. And
from scratch.
I slow cooked some meat on the hot plate today in my.
What type of meat did you use?
Chuck steak, actually. So 4 hours on a really low heat with that. So yeah, diced all of that up, and so it's just this really gorgeous ragu style. So looking forward to that.
And a bechamel, or what else?
Bechamel, and the lasagna sheets, the pasta sheets. What else was there? And actually, this recipe asked for lots of different cheeses. So, I mean, it's a bit of an indulgent one.
Was it a 4-cheese lasagna?
No, I haven't done the 4-cheese. No, this is a 3-cheese one. So
okay, 3. I was about to say
as indulgent.
4 is too many. 3 is probably.
Yeah, no, what I've got a parmesan, a fontina, and a mozzarella. So, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Be good, yeah. I mean, it's getting more wintry up here too, so it's real comfort food.
Aside from your lasagna, what else have you been cooking?
I've actually tried my hand at a lot of pastry. It's not something one generally has the time to do. Usually I do just get the sheet pastry from the supermarkets if I'm going to make a tart or a pie or something like that. But no, I did that from scratch. So I did a blue cheese pastry meat pie.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's really
What was
good.
that like?
Amazing. No, really, really good.
You're showing me new wonders of the world.
Surprisingly easy. So, so things like that. And just lots of slow cooking because, you've got the time and it's good. Yeah.
I would love to reflect on the role that Victorian Opera has played in your life because, in fact, you appeared in the company's very, very first production.
Yes.
And what was the production and what was the role?
It's a very, very vivid memory. I was just out of high school, so as an upstart 18-year-old, thinking the world was at my feet, and I went in and I auditioned for this new company, Victorian Opera, and I thought, fabulous. So I think I went in with one of Cherubino's arias from Le Nozze di Figaro. And I remember Richard Gill sitting there going, yes, this is, look, you've really worked on it. It's a good voice. You know what? I think you might be suited to our youth opera. And so come and audition in a couple of months' time when we set all of that up. And so I went in and subsequently got the role of God in Noise Flood. So the children's opera of Noah's Ark. So interestingly, it wasn't actually a singing role. It was a spoken role, but I mean, as we've been saying, you start at God.
It's a pivotal role in that story, no less. That
started my relationship with Victorian Opera, and I mean, it's like family. Every time I come back, it's really like coming home, and I mean, every year I say, whatever they want me to do. If there's something, I just love the environment. I love the colleagues, and it's just a really, really lovely environment.
What stands out?
2 really special moments, I think, for me, and they happened in quite quick succession, because I was part of the first Masters Developing Artists group, and so we had the privilege to work with both Richard Gill and subsequently Richard Mills, and there was a gala concert for each of the Richards, and so that sort of was in the middle of our development, and so we did Richard Gill's as he was leaving, and then Richard Mills came in and gave us each pieces to perform, and one really special one that still sticks with me today is I got to sing the Easter hymn from Santuzza's, from Cavaliere Rusticana. So, and that was with the chorus and the orchestra, and it was just, that was a really, at Hamer Hall, and just, it was a really special moment for me because it just, I think everything just opened up and I was like, wow, this is what it is to be singing and performing, and it was very special.
We were recently speaking to Antoinette Halloran and James Eggleston about sort of the glorious moments of when things go wrong, particularly when they're hilarious. And I was wondering, are there any moments which stand out for you?
Well, I mean, I've always had this absolute fear of getting hiccups on stage.
That would be pretty bad. That would be terrible for an opera singer. I can see why that would be a fear.
It happened. It was, I mean,
Did you manifest hiccups?
Yeah, it was, I was like, oh dear, here we go. But actually, I think it's something to do with the breathing. It wasn't actually a problem because I think, your body breathes properly and it wasn't an issue. But there were a few little moments in the pauses where there'd be just a little and so I just remember my colleague, he couldn't stop laughing. And that was probably one of my more prominent
What was the performance?
But we were doing the Papageno duet, so I mean, it kind of was in keeping with the whole vibe.
It makes sense. I can understand how that could happen.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But no, nothing that I haven't been able to hide.
Now, you've actually recorded a recital for Victorian Opera as a little treat for everyone watching online. Which pieces did you choose and why?
So, it was a really lovely to be asked to do this. I guess, again, gave me a bit of focus throughout this period. So I chose a piece from Adriana Lecouvre, Io son l'umile ancella, and that I chose that piece. Well, I chose all of the pieces because they're not upbeat, but they're very hopeful, and I think that's really important to be during this period of time because I'm quite optimistic about the future, and I'm quite optimistic about the future of music and the future of opera because we're a creative arts industry, and this has passed the test of time and it will into the future. So that one specifically, because really the aria is about a singer who is speaking about being essentially the vessel by which music passes through. And I think we are all that as musicians and as creatives. The next piece was Mimi's first aria, Mi chiama no Mimi. And again, she's just an idealistic treasure. She's speaking about the first kiss of spring that she'll feel and how it's hers, and just internalizing that. And then the third piece was a Strauss Lied, Cecily, and that's about saying essentially when will you be mine again? And I like to think, when will I see you all again? So those were the pieces I chose.
Well, we're gonna hear a little highlight now, but head to victorianopera.com.au to enjoy Olivia's full recital. Now, as our last question, what's the first thing that you would like to do once this all passes?
Get back down to Melbourne and see my family.
Are they missing you?
Yeah, I believe so. But I'm really missing them. It's obviously Sydney is home now, but Melbourne will always really truly be my home. So and it has been hard not being able to see my family, but also in a way quite good, because didn't want to get anyone sick and didn't want to risk, giving, older parents, they're in a more risky category. And so in a way it's probably been good because there hasn't been the temptation. But as soon as it's safe to do so, maybe, a couple of weeks down the track, couple of months down the track, definitely get down to Melbourne and see them. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Liv, it's been delightful chatting, and I hope you enjoy your lasagna tonight.
Thank you very much. I shall.
Please stay safe.
Thank you, likewise. Ciao.
For more chats with artists in isolation, you can follow Victorian Opera across social media or visit victorianopera.com.au. I'm Scott Winfield. Thanks for watching.